So this is circles level 3, and we're going to be looking at perimeter and area of compound figures, compound shapes involving circles. So it's going to be a little bit more complicated. We're going to have circles stuck together and all types of different things. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so in this one, you want to find the perimeter and area of this shape. So what have we got here? We've got a half a circle. And you can see that the diameter is 20, because 20 is the whole way across. So look, what we have to do to find the perimeter of this, first of all, if we find this, let me write that again. If you do this piece here, okay, that piece is half the circle. So if you get the perimeter of the circle and divide it by 2, you've got this piece here, which I've just highlighted a couple of times, right? I'll give you that piece there. That's half the perimeter of the, if the circle was full, it would be that. But we also have to add on this 20 here. That will give you the total perimeter of the circle. Okay? So, for perimeter, we're going to do half the circumference plus 20 centimeters. Okay? So, that's going to be, so the circumference of the circle would be 2 pi r, 2 times pi times r, which is 2 times 3.14 times 10. Remember, the radius is 10 here. And then, if you multiply that up, you're going to get 2 times 3.14 times 10. That's 62.8. And this 62.8 is the circumference of, if it was a full circle. So imagine if that actually made a full circle. I'll just kind of highlight it here. Okay, so if that was a full circle, its circumference would be 62.8. But we've only got half of the full circle, which I'm going to highlight here in black. This piece here, that's half of the full circle. So now what we do is we have to divide that by 2, and we're going to get 31.4 centimeters. So that 31.4 is the distance that I've marked in black there, from there around to there. And what I have to do to that is I have to add on this 20, which I'm going to highlight in blue. Okay, because that 20 isn't part of the circumference at all. This is a new length that we got by cutting it in half. And then we have to add 20, so plus 20, so it equals 51.4 centimeters. Okay, so 51.4 centimeters is the perimeter of that figure. Now, really quickly, let's have a look at area. Well, that really is, if you look at that, area is the amount of space that something occupies. And that shape there occupies half the amount of space of the full circle. Okay, this is the thing that's going to catch people out. Okay, perimeter, when you cut something in half, perimeter adds something new in, kind of exposes a new length. Whereas here, this is just half. So you get the full circle. So we do area is equal to pi times r times r. That would be the area of the full circle, and then we divide it by 2. Okay, so that means the area is equal to 3.14 times 10 times 10 divided by 2, and that's going to give you, if you type that into a calculator, it's going to give you 157 centimeters squared. That's the area. Okay? So now on to the next one. Let's have a look at this one here. Well, this is similar. This here is a quarter of a circle. Okay, so you find the perimeter, the circumference of the circle, divide it by 4. That will give you the red piece. But then we also have to add in this and this. Okay? So we're going to go, the perimeter is equal to the circumference over 4 plus 10 plus 10. Okay, so let's find out what the circumference is. So the circumference is 2 times pi times r, which equals 2 times 3.14 times 10. 10 is the radius, which is, let me see, plug that in the calculator. So that again is 62.8. Okay, so that would be the circumference of the full circle. But now we have to divide that by 4. Okay, so that's the full circle. So now the total perimeter is equal to 62.8 divided by 4 plus 10 plus 10. So that is going to be 15.7 plus 10 plus 10, which is 35.7. And what's the unit we're using in this question? We go back up and see centimeters. Okay, so it's centimeters squared. And there you go. Next one. Now it's important to remember here that the area is just a quarter of the area of the circle. Okay? So the area of a circle, remember, is pi times r, and this is a quarter of a circle, so its area is a quarter. So let's look. So that's going to be equal to pi times 10 times 10 over 4. Plug that in your calculator. And that's going to give you 78.5. And it's centimeters squared. By the way, this piece up here, let me see, it shouldn't be centimeters squared because we're only finding perimeter. Okay, it should be centimeters. All right. Area and perimeter. Right, so again, what we're going to do is this piece here in red is half a circle, and then we're going to have to add on 8, 12, and 8 to find the perimeter. Okay, so the perimeter is the circumference of the circle over 2 plus 8 plus 12 plus 8. And let me work out what the circumference is. The circumference is 2 times 3.14. So if you look at that semicircle, its diameter is 12, which means its radius is 6. Okay. So 37.68. So, in order to find the perimeter, you do 37.68 divided by 2 plus 8 plus 12 plus 8 is 28. That's 18.84. Plus 28. 46.84. And that's just meters, not meters squared, because it's not area. So now let's look, if we want to find the area, let's go back up and look at the shape. Well, we've half a circle, so we find the area of half the circle, or we find the area if it was a full circle and divide it by 2. And we have a rectangle, so we find the area of both and add them together. So let's scroll down and have a look at how we do this. So for area, is going to be equal to circle divided by 2, imagine it's a full circle, plus rectangle. Now let's look at the circle. It's pi times, what's the radius? 6 times 6, which is going to be equal to 113.04. That will be the full circle, but we're going to divide that by 2. That's going to give us 56.52. We're going to divide by 2, yeah. So, half circle is 56.52 meters squared. Okay, now we're going to look at the rectangle. It's 12 times 8, which is 96 meters squared, and then we add the two of them together. So the total area equals 56.52 plus 96, which is equal to 152.52 meters squared. Alright? Okay, this one. Perimeter and area. So you see the way that this 15 here is marked with this little dash? Well, that means that this is marked with the same type of dash, so they're all 15 as well. Okay? So first up, what we're going to do, for perimeter, we have this, which is half a circle, and this, which is half a circle. So if we add them together, it's actually the perimeter of a full circle, which is the circumference of a circle. And then we have to add on this 15 and this 15. So the perimeter equals the circumference of a circle plus 15 plus 15. Okay? And remember, we're going to find the circumference, which is 2 times pi. And remember, the radius is half of the diameter, which is 15, so 7.5. So the circumference is 2 times 3.14 times 7.5 equals 47.1 centimeters. Okay, that's C. So remember, the reason why is this is half the circumference of a circle, this is half the circumference of a circle. Add them together, we get the full circumference. And then, so the perimeter then is equal to 47.1 plus 15, which is plus 30, which is equal to 77.1 centimeters. Right? And now for area, I'm just going to draw a line across underneath it. We're going to find area is equal to the circle plus the square. So the area of the circle is pi times r, which is pi times 7.5 times 7.5. So plug it into your calculator. 3.14 times 7.5 times 7.5 equals 176.625. Okay, and that's centimeters squared. I think it's centimeters is the measure we're using here. Yeah. That's the circle. The square, 15 times 15, which is 225 cm squared. So then the total area of the figure is 176.625 plus 225. And that works out to be 401.625 centimeters squared. Okay, last one. So here, what have we got? Well, because this is 90 degrees, that's 1/4 of the circle. Okay, so you know that this here is 3/4 of the circle. Okay, so you're going to find, for perimeter, you're going to find the circumference and multiply it by 3/4. Okay, 3/4 of the circumference. Then you're going to add 7, and then you're going to add another 7. Okay, so let's work out what the circumference is. The circumference is 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 7. So 2 times 3.14 times 7 equals 43.96 millimeters squared. Alright, now remember the perimeter is equal to 3 times 43.96 over 4 plus 7 plus 7. Okay, so if you multiply that by 3 and then divide it by 4, you get 32.97. And then you have to add on the 2 sevens, which is 14, so it gives you 46.97 millimeters is the area. And you'll see that I keep putting in the squared symbol for circumference. I shouldn't be doing that. That's a mistake I keep making. Please ignore that. And finally, area. So if you look at this whole shape, this is exactly 3/4 of a circle. Okay, so you find the area of the circle, you find 3/4, and you're finished. Okay, so the area is equal to 3 times the circle divided by 4. So the circle's area is pi times 7 times 7, which works out to be 153.86 millimeters squared. If it was a full circle, that's what it would be. But we have 3/4 of the circle. So we do 3 times 153.86 divided by 4, and that gives you the full area. $115.395 millimeters squared, and we're done.